What's up, everyone? It's Chicks in the Office with Rhea and Fran giving you that Friday energy on a Wednesday, and it is the Bachelorette finale recap day.
Huge
day,
episode.
Guys.
Massive. Got a ton of information.
Big finale. I was not going into it feeling like I was going to be that invested. I think that we were all very, very invested.
It's hot in this room.
It is. It's warm. We've been in this room all day. We've had a lot of interviews. We actually are going to start off.
I wanted.
Looks around.
God, by the way, Trent's here, everyone.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about the Bachelorette finale,
Yes.
but I just wanted everyone to know it's hot in this room.
Katie and Blake are on this episode. We're going to start off with them. We had them very briefly. You know, they're doing a ton of TV spots, interviews, whatnot. So we had a very short amount of time. We tried to make the most of it. And then we'll get into our full recap. And then, on top of that, for all the Love Island people out there, we got Cash from Love Island US to close out the episode, giving us all the deets on what's going on with her and Cinco. A phenomenal reality TV episode.
Big ass episode that I'm pumped about.
Yeah.
The energy I have today is
You've been grinding. We've been grinding.
through the roof. I feel great about this recap we're about to get into, and I feel great about the interview we did with Katie and Blake, because I feel like obviously when we interview the leads of these shows, it feels almost like, can I say my opinion actually? Do you have to bounce around or whatever? And I feel like we asked honest questions that people were wondering on the internet, and
that you
were feeling.
Yes.
And mutual respect on both sides. You know, I like when you can have a conversation and everyone's okay after. It's not like a bad thing. Like, we could just talk about what happened and how we felt about it.
And those questions are necessary because it wasn't a finale where it was all good at the end.
Right. And we didn't
like
get
there
all
were
the
questions.
answers.
Right. Exactly.
We didn't get all the answers, which does always tie back to the fact that I hate that it wasn't, after the final rose wasn't live, which I think always generates a lot more questions. But we're going to get into our full recap. We're going to start off. I do want to say, because I think a lot of people like to watch these recaps on YouTube as well. If you are watching on YouTube, I did see a bunch of tweets. The neon sign's never working again. Just want to put that out there.
R.I.P.
I've gotten people asking. I've seen tweets. I've seen messages.
Gone by next week.
Being like, what's going on with the neon sign? Unfortunately, you know, we thought we were popping off as a podcast with the neon sign. We're not.
It was
the neon
jinxed.
sign actually told us to check it.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not big enough for the neon sign.
The neon sign said, you guys were jack shit. I'm never turning on again.
Get us to 100K on YouTube and maybe we can get the neon sign to work again. But for right now,
we'll try again.
I like the charm of it not working.
Thank you, Trent.
Thank
you.
It's
I don't.
No, I was on your side with that.
Yeah, Rhea was.
I was on
you
your
didn't back
side.
me up enough.
Personally, I don't.
Fran, like,
I think it's hard to read. I think the wires
bow
look
down.
more obvious. I don't
like
like
the
it.
it's
I
like
don't
the,
like the
it's like the
aesthetic.
elevator in The Big Bang Theory.
But Trent,
It
what
just
do you
doesn't
think,
work the
what do
whole
you think
time.
about
I
this
will
idea?
certainly not be understanding any of your Big Bang Theory references.
You don't watch
I've
that show?
never
Wait,
watched that
Noah,
show.
what do you have to say?
Well, first off, are you saying that you like The Big Bang Theory?
I am saying that, and I've said
Oh my
that public.
God.
No.
No, that
Get out
he-
of here.
I've said I'm staying.
Boo this man.
I'll take that sign with
Trent
me.
is actually a very vocal Big Bang Theory
I
fan.
think listen.
Oh my God.
But there's a reason it's the most popular show on TV.
That I will agree with you.
Yeah.
They do exist.
Like this is the same argument
It's
that
the
people make
biggest show
about.
on
I'm not saying that
TV
people
for
don't
years.
like it.
This is an
A
argument
lot of people like
people.
SpongeBob. I'm just
I
trying
mean-
to piss you guys off.
All right.
People, it's the same thing with like fast food restaurants or a place like Olive Garden. Yeah, people shit on it, but there's a reason it's so popular and it's all over the place.
Maybe I haven't
'Cause
given it a chance.
Have you not watched The Big Bang Theory?
I've seen.
You're part of the
clips.
herd.
No. I've seen enough where I'm like, this is awful.
See,
I've watched enough episodes
I couldn't make it
to
through
decide that I did
one
not like it.
commercial, like one seg.
I'll say something.
I don't like the characters.
I'll step in and say something.
okay,
My parents used to watch
yeah.
growing up. I'd sit around and watch with them. I didn't think it was terrible.
Now
But
we're
I'll
talking.
say this. My dad and my uncle did get into a huge fight. A
Over
huge
the
fight.
Big Bang Theory.
Because my uncle was saying the Big Bang Theory is better than, I don't know, it was either Seinfeld, Friends, whatever it was. And my dad flipped his shit and was like, you cannot sit here and say the Big Bang Theory is better than any show.
Have you ever seen?
But I will say when they used to watch, they did enjoy it. And I also was like, this isn't the worst show.
I'm not sitting here saying it's better than Seinfeld or Curb or anything like that. It's just a show that I enjoy. It's like
Welcome to the Bachelorette recap, everybody. We're talking about the Big Bang Theory.
I will not be shamed into not liking a show that I like.
I respect that.
I also respect that.
Okay.
Good for you.
There's a good video where they take the laugh track out of Big Bang Theory, and it's the most uncomfortable thing you'll ever watch.
That's part of the show.
This is the thing that I don't like about that argument is you take the laugh track out of almost any sitcom and it is uncomfortable to watch because you're so programmed in your brain to have the laugh track there that when it's not there, something feels off.
Well, also
I think you could do that for any sitcom and be like, ooh, this is weird.
My real life sitcom wouldn't have a laugh track because it wouldn't need one because people would laugh anyway.
Okay. You should have a live studio audience.
See, you just laughed at that.
That was good.
I literally proved it.
I liked it.
You laughed at what I said. Didn't need a laugh track.
We can move on from the Big Bang Theory, but if you like it, it's fine.
Oh wait, but about the neon sign.
You went the neon sign is gone, and you were like Big Bang Theory.
Yeah. You're like,
well, I just want people to know because Big Bang Theory, if you like it, people are like, ugh, they like won't talk to you. They act like you have some crazy disease.
How did you even
it's just a show that's pretty funny.
He made a Big Bang Theory reference in reference to the sign.
elevator.
And none of us got the reference because none of us
There's people listening to this that definitely got that reference. Shout out to those people.
And they love you for it.
Shout out to
those
those
people.
people.
Say about the neon sign.
Let Noah explain the sign.
The sign thing was that earlier I was like, hey, these people are coming in and redoing the wall this week, but I think that we should keep the non-working neon sign and put it like in this corner that's off camera just for like room aesthetic and the vibe in here. And Fran shut me down real hard.
I don't like the idea.
She was like, what? And Rhea
I think the neon sign not lit up is ugly.
Enough.
No, I tried. I tried to support
you. You were like, oh, I don't. But like,
no, I said I like it, and but Fran was so adamant against
she was
it that
very adamant.
So
I really think when it's not lit up, it's an eyesore.
I don't know about that. It's cool. It's like a design.
I just feel like it's a waste of money. That was my personal opinion of it. Like we're just gonna throw that in the trash.
No. I don't think
All right, let's talk about this off camera.
Off
camera. People want us to talk about the Bachelorette.
You know,
if you feel strongly that the sign should still be in the room somewhere off camera, let us know.
In the YouTube
I don't know
comments.
why anybody would feel strongly about that because the viewer will never see it.
Maybe they will.
It's off camera.
Maybe then I'll start to incorporate that somehow.
You're gonna start putting that.
I don't know.
If we have a
corner,
if
we have a guest on the couch,
or just a guest, like when they walk in, like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, but how does it make us look if they say, "Ooh, neon sign, light it up," and we say, "We can't, it's broken."
I don't think they would.
Fun.
I would just be like, there's a sign.
Starter.
Yeah.
I think one of these weeks I want to sit on that couch.
You should. You can do it.
That was my first of all. We have to get into the Bachelorette recap, but I would like to say that was my initial request for you in this room was to sit on that couch with a mic, and I got shut down. So just know that I was putting you on that couch.
I like sitting here as well, but I think it'd be nice over there.
Trent wants to be removed.
No, and then
if you have the Chicks in the Office sign behind you.
Noah's standpoint, it's just camera-wise, that's tough.
We could make it work if you really needed to be on the couch.
I'm not going to be a diva.
Yeah,
I'll sit here. It's fine sitting here.
You deserve to be a diva every once in a while, babes.
No.
Would you just sit or would you like lie down?
I'll just see how the mood strikes me. I don't know. Probably just sit there.
Let's get into the recap.
it might be
let's get into the interview.
Laying down.
We're
We're going to start off with
gonna
Katie
lay
and Blake. First, before we do that, let's chat about New Amsterdam Vodka.
I'd also like to say, though, before that, my voice is gone again.
It's not as bad as it was before.
But it's gone again.
It's great, though, because as long as you don't hit the level of how bad it was, people are going to be like, it's not that bad.
Right.
Are you kind of doing it on purpose now?
I am doing nothing to change it, but I almost don't want it to go back to my other voice.
Right.
I feel comfortable as this new Rhea.
There you go. Then it doesn't matter. Now let's talk
keep
about
partying.
New Amsterdam Vodka.
With New Amsterdam Vodka.
Yeah.
But you guys are right. New Amsterdam Vodka. Let's chat about it here real quickly before we get into this interview. New Amsterdam Vodka is the official vodka of Barstool Sports. Trent, you know it. Rhea, you know it. Mm-hmm. I know it.
Yep.
Because, our good friends at Owens Mixers, best way to create a great cocktail, in my opinion, is a little Owens Mixers, a little New Amsterdam Vodka. It's a great combination. You can go to your local liquor store, pick up the summer co-branded NAB bottle. It's the same extra smooth 80 proof vodka now with the custom Barstool labels. Great colors. It's a beautiful bottle. We have a ton of them in the office. They look great. New Amsterdam Vodka is made from some of the finest quality grains from America's heartland and is 5-time distilled for unparalleled smoothness and filtered 3 times for clean, crisp finish. What are your guys' favorite NAV combo?
Transfusion.
Transfusion.
That was going to be mine.
Transfusion. It's delicious.
You guys can both pick transfusion. It's fine.
Okay, perfect.
Then yes.
Then that's what we choose.
Done.
Then you both choose transfusion. It is a great combination. So make sure you head to your local liquor store, get that summer co-branded bottle. And New Amsterdam Vodka, like I said, the official vodka of Barstool Sports. So if you're supporting New Amsterdam Vodka, you're supporting us. So go out there and get your New Amsterdam Vodka.
All right, everyone, we are here with two special guests. We have Katie and Blake from The Bachelorette joining us. Obviously, we had a big finale the other night. Lots to talk about. Let's just start off with, how are you guys doing?
So good. Like, we've been counting down to this day for weeks, months, and it just feels like a weight has been lifted and we're just ready to get into the real world now.
Yeah, we're just very relieved.
That's a great word for it. What are your upcoming plans? I know long term is very hard to figure out, but what about the next few months?
Yeah, so she's actually going to come to Canada for the next 7 days. She's going to get a taste of the cottage in Toronto and Niagara Falls and some of the hot spots. And then I think after that, I'll try to probably get to San Diego. Actually, we might be looking to go to New York. And if we do, you're going to stop by and see you guys. So
We would love that.
Yeah. And then after that, I don't know, we have a couple ideas, but back and forth between Canada and San Diego, or maybe Africa, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah. Well, I want to start off, obviously.
Maybe Africa.
Yeah.
Just throws it in there.
Maybe we'll just stop by in Africa. I want to know how, obviously, we're so happy for you guys. We're rooting for you guys. And we were watching the episode and we were like, okay, obviously, all the shit went down with Greg the week before. We're now seeing that again. But then we see your guys' love story and we're thrilled. We're crying. We're happy. We were cheering. We were applauding. And then
Kelly had tears.
Yeah,
Kelly cried.
Kelly Keegs was crying. It was emotional, and we were so happy for you guys. And then we feel like the episode took a big turn because then, Katie, you sat down with Greg, and everything was addressed there. And I'd like to know how both of you are feeling about this situation, because I'm sure it's not easy for you, Katie, and I'm sure it's not easy for you, Blake. And now, I just want to know, Katie. Obviously, you were very, very upset with what happened with Greg, and rightfully so, even if you and Blake are in love. But did you take a lot of what the internet was saying into consideration when going off on Greg? Because I think what myself and a lot of people took from, because obviously we don't want to invalidate your feelings. Obviously, you're upset with what happened, and rightfully so, but it kind of just sounded like a lot of things that people were saying on the internet mixed with the gaslighting accusation. And that's thrown around so much lately that people are like, what even is the definition of that nowadays? So what was going through your mind when you kind of went off on Greg like that?
Yeah, what people actually don't realize is we filmed after the final rose a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So we had watched the finale right before going on to stage. So I was speaking to Greg in my own anger and emotions without any, I don't want to call it internet support, but the world hadn't seen this episode yet. And so it's very interesting because in that moment, I'm very angry. I watched it back. I'm like, oh, I'm looking at this differently. However, given the week that it did air and all these conversations started, I will say I probably would have approached AFR a little differently because there have been so many important conversations and even specialists talking about, what these different terms mean and what it means for relationships and communication. And, overall, I think what people need to take away is the conversations are starting. I think that's the bigger picture and how to apply it in your relationship going forward. But yeah, that's what After the Final Rose is for, is speaking your final thoughts to each other. That's what Greg and I did a few weeks ago when we recorded it. And I think it's safe to say we're both just ready to move forward and close that door.
Yeah, I think as viewers, we were ready to kind of close it also, which is why it was a little frustrating to watch the beautiful proposal and then have that happen right afterwards. But because I think that so many women may have seen relationships or their previous relationships within your story and your story with Greg, that it really took on a life of its own, especially on the internet, and these, like we said, big words being thrown around: gaslighting, emotional abuser, really, really intense things. What have you kind of thought about how the internet has taken and Bachelor Nation has taken that conversation?
I was not expecting the conversation to be so big that week. You know, even knowing what the episode looked like going into that Monday night, knowing how I personally felt, I didn't realize how many people were going to, like you said, either put themselves in that situation or relate to it. So it is a huge conversation. And again, I think the only thing I can really say is I'm glad we're talking about it. No matter how you view it, I think that's how people learn and grow, is by talking about it, seeing from different sides, different perspectives. And even myself, I've learned a lot this past week. And like I said, had I gone through this week and actually got to film the finale live with Greg, I think I definitely would have approached it just a little softer instead of like in the heat of the moment. However, I wanted to speak my own truth, and that's how I felt, you know, in that moment with Greg.
Yeah, and Blake, obviously watching that probably is not easy because you see the passion behind Katie's eyes and her words and how she's feeling towards Greg. Is there, obviously you support her in everything she does, is there any part of you that was like a little bit nervous watching that back? Like, hey, it seemed like you really, really cared about Greg there.
No, I mean, she pre-warned me for everything, like every little thing, even going into watching that episode where Greg left. Like there was zero surprises. And that was one thing, is like how she handles it, right? And that's one thing I love about her. She's very direct. She just is decisive. She handles things on her own. So I was able to sit back. I didn't have to tell her much. Handle it the way you want to, and I'll be there to support you. But like, I don't know, that's one thing I love about her. And so nothing really surprised me. I'm a very confident guy. I don't have a lot of doubts. I didn't have it coming on the season. I never had it all the way through to this point. And so it's easy to like kind of sit back and like watch her manage all those things, knowing what we have now and like the love and support and all that shit. Like, I don't care. Like, I really don't.
Yeah. So it's not phasing you. You're like,
no.
That's great. Well, let's talk about the proposal, because the proposal was awesome. I do think there was a moment of suspense where it was like, oh my God, is he really going to propose? But, you know, I think we had to build that a little bit. You were the only guy left. So I think, you know, they needed to give us something. But what was going through your head before that? Because we did see a very intense conversation with Katie's family. You know, Aunt Lindsay did not hold back.
What is Aunt Lindsay's reaction to you guys being engaged? And did she find out last night with everybody? I need to know if that's true.
Yeah, she did find out last night. She's very supportive. Actually, everyone's very excited for him to come over and, you know, see everyone in our own normal element, you know, outside of that. And, you know, I think Blake's just going to fit in perfectly.
Is Aunt Lindsay really okay with it?
She's fine. I promise. I mean, she's a tough cookie, but I think she did go in a little extra hard just to see if he could pass the test, and he did.
Yeah.
What were you thinking during that, Blake?
Oh, did you see my posture? Like I finally just was defeated and was just like, I'm done here. Like I can't win, right? I'm, you know, listen, she's coming from a place where she's being protective, which is very, very fair. I just was on the wrong end of that. And so, you know, I can't wait to see her in person, see their family in person. She needs to see us now, like in real life, right? Like it's a show. She wasn't very fond of that. And so I think that kind of came into a lot of the... So I think she just needs to see us in real life, and it'll calm her right down.
And what about Emily? Need to ask about the mom. How's Em doing?
She's good. You know, she's very, very excited. She doesn't drink very often, but last night I think got loaded because I'm getting the text coming through. She's really excited, and you know, Katie's coming back to Canada, so we'll be able to celebrate the way that my mom wants to, and yeah, she's just very excited about it.
Did Emily know? Katie, did your mom know? Like when you said your family knew?
No.
What? How? I'm sorry, but how did you not tell your family that you were engaged? How? I know.
I mean, they knew.
I'm sorry.
They knew we were together because there were times where I'd leave to go visit him. Yeah. They just didn't know to what extent. Okay. And my family's not so traditional that it was going to be this big thing where I sit them down and talk to them about it, or like have them even ask for permission. As you saw, like we're just kind of like do our own thing and support the women in our family. And so I knew they didn't need to know in advance. I was like, I'm okay with them watching it live and texting me or calling me afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, kudos to the family.
Yeah.
I think now, but I you know, I like that I almost like a little bit that they didn't have these months of being like, who is this man that Katie's engaged to? We can't even see him because we have to keep this a secret. So now they get to experience it fully in real life. And I think another big change, you know, this season you had Caitlin and Tayshia with you guys. And I know that Twitter was joking about Tayshia being the one helping Blake pick out engagement rings and the dynamic there. But Blake, you replied to one of our tweets. You were like, we needed Tayshia in that moment. How did you guys all interact, especially like towards the end of all this? Because Caitlyn and Tayshia obviously looked like they were ecstatic for you guys.
Oh yeah, I mean, people really build that up because it's like a talking point. But honestly, like not one time did the whole Tayshia thing ever cross my mind when I was there. Right, like I have such a great relationship with Zach for one thing, but also and I talked about this briefly. The only thing that they ever showed Tayshia and I talk about on her season was the fact that how I said it was very important to keep your exes close if you can and maintain that relationship. And look how that played out on this season, right? And just being mature about it, right? And Tayshia and I were able to do that. She vouched for me coming on the season, and it played out in our favor because I did need her in some moments where she came through for me. So it's just crazy how that kind of all played out.
Yeah, we enjoyed Caitlyn and Tayshia this season, obviously, and just for the sake of you, Katie, to have two strong women help you through that. And we know that the narrative going into the season was like a little wishy-washy, the way people were talking about it, like, oh, Tayshia and Caitlyn and Katie, three strong women in one room. But I think it went over well.
Yeah, I mean, people aren't comfortable with change sometimes, and that's really what this season format was. But I think everyone can agree, which is obviously why it's the same for Michelle going forward, that having these two women there to support the Bachelorette in the chaos that you guys got to see from start to finish, it's very much needed. And so I'm excited that the girls are going to be there for Michelle as well, because it really does make a huge difference.
Yeah, we're excited to watch that, and we're excited to see what happens with you guys. Now looking back, is there anything you would change about this process? Do you guys have any regrets, or would you do it all over again?
I mean, I would do it all over again, as long as the outcome's the same.
Yeah.
But no regrets, really. All I wanted this season was for the men to be known, their stories to be heard, and topics to be brought up. And so not even just like the last week's topic, but in general, each week there was stories that were shared and tears that were shared and important conversations. And that's, I think, the biggest thing I can take away from this whole entire season. And then, of course, getting to walk away with Blake at the very end.
Yeah,
I don't have any regrets at all. It panned out perfectly. It was very scary to pull the trigger in the beginning, but it panned out exactly how I thought it was going to. And so
it panned out how we thought. I would say, Blake, after maybe 2 weeks of you being there, we all sat down and we were like, I don't know what's going to happen with these other guys, but Blake and Katie to us make the most sense in real life.
Yes. I have an inappropriate question to ask, so bear with me if you think if I'm stepping over a line here, but I don't know with you two. I feel like it's safe. Did you guys beat the windmill record that Hannah Brown and Peter had during your fantasy suite?
What did they say? I don't remember what
I think they said like 7.
Oh, was it 7? I thought it was 3.
Wait, I'm going to look up Hannah Brown. Peter.
I don't know why I think 7.
Well, that might be our answer right there, that if you thought it was 7, you had to think about it.
It was 4 times.
Oh, 4.
Oh. I don't think so.
No, we definitely didn't go there.
Because we really did utilize the time. We went there.
We did go there. There was moments where you have, like, that's the thing, right? It's not all about sex in those moments. You have a lot of conversations. I think the first time that I actually cried with her was behind the scenes in the fantasy suite. We put on a part of David Attenborough's like documentary because we talk about the passions and things. Like that's what you're doing behind the scenes, right? That's our crying about a rhino and like those moments are meant for that, not just the physical stuff. And people need to remember that.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, we're very happy for you guys. And like I said, that is exactly how I picture like you cuddled up watching a David Attenborough documentary. It sounds spot on. We are really excited, and thank you guys so much for hopping on with us here. And we hopefully would love to chat with you guys in New York too, because I know you guys are so busy. We only get a little bit of time with you, but we're dying for more. So congrats again.
We'll make time to stop by.
We love you guys. Congrats again, and we wish you all the best.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for taking the time for us.
Thanks, guys.
Of course.
Bye.
Bye.
Trent, I just want you to know something.
What's that?
Are you ready?
I think so.
I would protect you with my own life. If a train was coming, I would jump in front of that train for you. But let's not get crazy. Let's not hope for any of that. Just know that if an attacker was near you, I would have you covered with my taser strike light that I carry on me. If me and you were walking on the street, boom, somebody comes to attack you because they're coming for you first. I'm sorry. I got you covered with the taser rechargeable strike light. It's a rechargeable high-powered flashlight that can repel an attacker through its electric stun feature. So boom, somebody come near Trent, I got him covered. Okay.
I really appreciate that.
No, anytime. No need to thank me. My life is on the line for you. Thanks to Taser Strike Light. It's a non-lethal self-protection device that is small and lightweight, enough to carry with you or in your glove compartment or a purse, whatever it is that you need. Taser Strike Light is available without a permit in most U.S. states, so you can get the Taser Strike Light at taser.com with promo code CHICKS. You could save 15% off now at taser.com. Promo code CHICKS, once again, spelled TASER.com. Promo code CHICKS. Go get your Taser Strike Light. Restrictions apply, and you could see the site for details.
All right, guys, this is our final recap of this season. Don't worry, we'll be back next week for Paradise. We're not skipping a beat.
Paradise.
I thought that we put out a great promo that if you didn't see, go check it out on Instagram.
It flopped.
Or Twitter, because apparently we put it out on Twitter at the wrong time. However, I think it's great. You can watch it a million times. Go check it out. I think Paradise is going to be awesome. We're very excited about it. I think if you watch Cutting Stems, I think I just poured out a lot of misinformation at the end with scheduling.
Well, it's confusing.
We don't know. We have no idea. It's some weeks it's on 2 nights, some weeks it's not. The premiere will be on Monday, August 16th, and we believe it is just one night, Monday. So that's the night we will be on Cutting Stems. And then the week after that, I think it goes to 2 weeks. So we're just going to have to play it by ear. But this season wrapped up, and all across the board, I think all of us did think that was a very entertaining finale.
I was very entertained. I was fired up. Like I said in the beginning, I didn't think I was going to be as invested, but I thought it was a very interesting finale from all angles.
Yeah.
Certainly like a conversation starting finale.
Definitely.
Where, like I said at the beginning, where Rhea was asking those questions to Katie, you can't really have one opinion on it. Like you either, it's very split down the middle, like, or do you see it from Greg's perspective? Do you see it from Katie's perspective? Do you think they're both sort of in the wrong and in the right at the same time? It's something you can talk about for sure.
100% massive conversation starter. Everybody who watches the show has been talking about this, and they're going to keep talking about it, but we're going to go through the whole episode. Let's start with the beginning. Blake's fantasy suite date. Their original, this is started off as like, is Blake going to tell Katie he loves her? I thought that Blake was going to go through this whole speech and then Katie was going to be like, I can't give you an answer because I promised myself I wouldn't tell anyone I love them till the end. But I guess because Greg, now that I'm talking about this out loud, that is something that I wrote down to ask Katie, and now I'm realizing I forgot to ask that
about
question.
her self-imposed rule.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, like, did the rule go out the window? And I totally forgot. I literally wrote it down.
We got our answer.
We did get our answer. It clearly did.
Did we get the answer? Because I guess so. I guess we did get the answer because maybe maybe she would have just said it to Greg.
My question, right.
If Greg, I feel like if Greg really was the one, she would have done it.
But did she just say it to Blake because Greg was gone? Is the question. It could go either way. That's the whole thing between this whole finale is like,
right.
You could see all different angles of this.
Right, that's what it is. It's how much changed when Greg left. Like, what changed in her mind? And it clearly changed to the point where she did change her rule because at that point it's Blake and Justin, and she's clearly very into Blake. But let's say that Blake had left, and then it's only Greg and Justin left. Does she say it to Greg?
Right.
I feel like the answer is yes. That's what my gut says.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm leaning toward Katie and Greg, like Katie wanting that story of, first impression, one-on-one dates, all of those things, to have that like fairy tale story and to have all those pieces of the puzzle come together. And then Greg like threw a wrench in her plan and not necessarily as much like. And then I think in that moment when they had that conversation, it was like, clearly we're not meant to be together. And it was like, oh, now Greg's done. I'm done. Greg's done. I'm focusing on Blake. And the I love you situation, it's hard. And Greg did kind of mention it in the hot seat. It was like, well, you know, you could have left if you really wanted to, which she obviously did not like. She said, you know, I'm the Bachelorette. My journey was not over yet. And on the other side of that, if Greg really was invested, he could have stayed. Those two were clearly not meant to be. And Katie felt like it was the right time to tell Blake that she loved him. And then they couldn't stop saying it over and over and over again.
I fucking love you.
I fucking
love you too. And this is where we were
most Blake Moynes, I
Yeah.
love you ever. Like, I fucking love you.
It is.
I love that though.
I know.
I was into it.
Yeah.
We were buying all
We
of
were,
it.
for
We were
sure.
like, this is great. They're happy. They're in love.
Yep, exactly.
They spent the night together.
They did.
Yeah.
The bra was on the floor.
She was pleased multiple times.
Multiple times, she said.
Knew it.
Yep.
Not shocking.
I mean,
Not shocking at
it's
all.
been a long lead up with Blake Moynes and potentially having sex. Like, he's been naked on the show for 3 years now.
Didn't break the record though. You heard in the interview.
Yeah, that
He
is
said.
true. I didn't
Didn't break
ask
Peter Weber's
if
record.
they broke the Hannah Brown Peter Weber windmill record.
They did not.
They did not.
Okay. It's good to know.
However, David Spade did ask them how many times that they've had sex on Jimmy Kimmel during the Newlyweds game. They had to like guess.
Wait, how did he refer to it again? It was like
Whoopee.
a weird. Oh, whoopee.
I believe he used the term whoopee.
Whoopee.
Katie
that.
She
said
said
like 43 and Blake said 30.
Yeah.
So
I
they're
think
getting
that's
real specific.
Yeah, that is specific. 43 is a very specific
43
number.
makes me
How
think
much-
Katie has kept count, but I don't know.
Yeah, how much time has passed?
A few months.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean, at least like
I'm trying to do the math in my head of like,
You ever see Pineapple Express?
Yep.
Where he's like 2.5. Like I just remember it not counting as a full. Like
He's on the phone with her. Yeah. Yeah.
not counting.
I guess it's been 2 months.
if not longer. It's been a while. It's definitely been a while since they wrapped this season. So they, and they've been able to see each other and whatnot. But after that moment, after that fantasy suite, after the I love yous, we knew there was no way Justin was able to stick around. Justin somehow is still in this top two. It's an unbelievable Cinderella story for the ages. No one will ever compare to Justin in a way that he had to do the absolute bare minimum to get to the final two.
Best case possible for him.
Best case scenario for
Because-
Justin. As much as Justin did look upset and feel bad,
He's fine. He's going to be fine. He's more than okay. The crowd loves him. We got that
Love
great
him.
expression reel. He did nothing wrong. He is no part.
Unproblematic.
Yeah, unproblematic. Justin. He has no part of this finale in any way, shape, or form besides the fact that he got the number 2 spot.
Yep.
They're like, we know nothing about their connection.
Nope.
We know nothing about the way Katie feels
They
about
both
him.
like blue cheese. That's the only thing I
Besides,
remember.
he's a nice guy. Like, Justin got the best possible edit, not even edit, just the best possible run on this show that you can have. He's got to be thrilled with himself right now because he probably is getting a plethora of women trying to talk to him. He's probably getting offered to
Absolutely.
do more of these shows.
Yep.
And he's in a great spot. So good for Justin. You know who won last night?
Justin. He looked emotional. He looked invested. He did say
He put on the act.
He put on the hot in the hot seat. He said, there was a lot more to our relationship that was shown. But yeah, best case scenario. Final two didn't have to involve his parents.
They didn't want to be involved.
Yeah,
wanna
his
be
parents
involved.
never met her. They
They,
never said I love you.
yeah.
They never had
The only-
sex. Like
Yep.
they're just
Right.
golden.
And the only
Yep.
way that someone can one up his run is if someone wins the season that they're on, like by accident.
Right.
It's going to be really hard to
It
match
will
that
be
run.
very hard to compete with
like
that.
he goes down in
The next step
Bachelor-
is literally winning. That's all that's
right.
left.
That's the only step that's left.
Yeah.
So he goes down in Bachelor
Justin
lore.
won.
Dude, I mean, for a while there,
Imagine
for a
Justin
while
won.
there, it kind of seemed like he was going
if his
to.
parents would have come, do you think that would have maybe?
No.
No.
Katie had that connection with Blake for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It felt like
for
it
sure.
was there. But yeah, just one of the all-time runs. We will always compare runs like this to Justin from here on out. Like we had Ed
Absolutely.
for a while, but Ed didn't make it this far. He didn't come close to this. Like he made
No.
it down to the final, like 7 or 8
yeah,
maybe?
yeah.
Justin, legend.
Fucking legend.
Legend.
And like you said, Rhea, the whole montage of his facial expressions and the jokes, it was great. It was great.
I think everyone got a crush on Justin after that.
Yeah. And the way he laughed at himself, for sure. I think there was a lot of women out there who were watching. They were like, I really like this guy.
Felt like the only time
You could see more of his personality in the 2 seconds he was on after the final rose.
Big time. Felt like the only time during last night's episode where we could kind of relax. Be
Yeah.
like, Justin's here. And I
Justin's like a warm lavender tea.
he is.
Justin's here, and we know they're not in love.
Right. He can.
We know Justin's going to make you feel no emotion, so just sit back and
exactly.
relax.
Yep, exactly. We jumped right back into it with Blake, and they definitely kudos to the producers for trying to make it seem like there was any chance Blake wasn't going to propose. Blake seemed very locked in.
I bought it.
Like this was his plan. Oh, we all bought it.
I buy the music
ominous
every time.
music gets Trent every time. Anytime like the ominous music comes on, Trent's like, I don't know about this, guys.
Let's, I don't think so.
I don't know what's going to happen. And Blake went from, meeting the family to that last date ritual that we'll talk about and into a proposal. But meeting the family was a little more contentious than we expected. Not going to lie. When Katie said, you're meeting my mom and my aunt, we thought, oh, mom, aunt, easy, no problem. Not easy.
Aunt fucking Lindsay, man. I'll say this. I got a lot of crazy aunts. Love them, but I got a lot of crazy aunts. The one thing that they do right, or maybe, I don't want to say right, but the one thing that they do, even though they're crazy and they'll come for you and they'll fucking threaten your life and all that shit, when a new significant other is brought into the area, the first time somebody meets them, it's like family. I'm going to offer you my life. I'm going to be so kind to you. I'm going to smother you. So opposite of what Aunt Lindsay did. Like this man
Lindsay
is a
went the complete
potential
opposite.
husband for Katie in Katie's eyes, Aunt Lindsay. So you gotta, I understand.
Well, that's why I guess Aunt Lindsay thought he really needed to be put to the test.
But Aunt Lindsay just seemed like a bitter old aunt who isn't getting any dick at any time, and she's just sitting around being like, I hate all men.
Right.
And
I'm trying to look if Aunt Lindsay was wearing a wedding ring, and I do think she was.
I think she was too. Some sort of ring on her finger. Yeah.
There was some kind of ring.
You could look at
that
it.
means anything or not.
You could look at it as protection for Katie, which is what it boils down to. But she just did it in such a mean way, where she said to Blake, you are nothing. You are meaningless. You mean nothing to us. You're here because we want you here, not because we need you here. And it's just a really mean couple sentences to say to somebody. I'm sure in her heart of hearts, she is trying to protect Katie, and that is very sweet in a certain way. Right. But she left no room for Blake to even have a chance. Like at one point she says, what happens to your relationship when you guys get in a fight, and how do you solve that? And she gave him no situation to work through.
It almost felt like she was going to be like, men have no place here. Like the way that she was going about it, and it was kind of like, Blake's a good guy. You don't know him. Give him the benefit of the doubt before automatically assuming that he's just here to wreck your entire... We get it. You guys are strong, independent women that don't need no man. Nope, you don't. But, if she likes him, Katie likes Blake, she wants him around.
Absolutely, and you can express that sentiment without being an asshole.
Katie's mom did it very well.
Katie's mom did it very well.
She was hard on him, but also
and at the end came around and was
100%.
like, I do see the connection there. And it does make me think that maybe the process going into this, when Katie was becoming the Bachelorette, that she may have told her family, something different about how she thought the show was going to go. It makes me think maybe she didn't tell them all, I really hope I get engaged at the end of this, because Katie's mom was telling Katie oh, I didn't really think that this is how this was going to end. I didn't really think about this part. And it was like, what do you mean you didn't think about this? She's the Bachelorette. It's supposed to end an engagement.
How much do you think the cameras play a role in if they come in, they're setting up, and she's like, oh, I can't look like a pushover here. I got to really go after Blake.
Absolutely.
So maybe she just did that for optics.
Well, and also, and you had said this last night, where the original pitch that Blake gave was, I'm unemployed, and I'm probably going to be moving to Africa for a few months. And that doesn't give Aunt Lindsay she shouldn't have reacted the way she did, but that's a strange pitch from the guy that's trying to marry your niece.
Right, and it sounds like Blake's passionate, and Blake's very passionate about what he's passionate about.
Yeah.
I just had a realization that I then backtracked on it when Katie tweeted out that Blake's sister isn't gonna hold back. Was she referring to Aunt Lindsay now being Blake's sister? But that wouldn't really make sense.
No, I think something got cut out.
Yeah.
I think maybe something from, and that's my biggest complaint of this whole thing. I just think that everything was really chopped up these last few episodes by production and the producers, and
it always has been, though.
I know,
not just this season.
Of course, but this feels worse to me, and it feels worse to me because of the After the Final Rose not being live. Also, like, I just think there's probably a lot more that happened or that was filmed that we didn't see, and that, of course, that happens every season during the season,
right?
But that's why the After the Final Rose feels more like finite, like you get the more answers you're looking for because it's live and these people have to answer what's going on currently. It's not like, ooh, that was happening 2 weeks ago, or like what was going on, you had time to prep. It was like you were in the hot seat live, and it loses the effect,
right? Because in our interview with Katie and Blake, she had mentioned that was recorded a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So she had just watched the finale and then went into that,
yeah.
which still to me proves how passionate she was about Greg, even watching the finale of her and Blake. Like,
right.
It's still kind of confusing to me. But she said that she feels like she would have reacted differently now, right, having it past a couple weeks and it being live. So I do think that there is a big aspect there. And just the way that it was cut together, us seeing the whole proposal with Blake.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we're back to Greg.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we're back to Blake, and now we can't buy what they're selling because we just saw the Greg thing.
Exactly.
Right.
I really think that was on purpose to make everyone feel some type of way. There were rumblings in Bachelor Nation that production did not like Katie. And if that's the case, they can do their darndest to make Katie look bad.
They can.
Or attempt to, or try to.
And if that was the goal, I think they certainly succeeded.
Yeah, and looking back, and like Katie said, do I wish I was like a little bit softer there? Yeah. So that's how that went down.
I don't think they're ever going to go back to live After the Final Rose either.
I know, which is such bullshit.
Now that they've done it a couple times during the pandemic, I think that's what started it maybe.
Yeah.
Now I think they're just going to stick with it.
Right, because they can manipulate the story the way they want to.
Right.
Fucking bullshit. I miss it being like, and I don't know, maybe it was because it's Caitlyn and Tayshia's first time and like they didn't want to put the pressure on them of having it be live.
Maybe.
Very possible. But it's just so much better when it's live.
Way
I
better.
really feel like that, we got a different story than maybe what was actually going on. But let's talk about Blake and Katie's final date with the New Mexico ritual of the burning.
The very scary thing.
Yeah.
It starts with a Z, and
now
again,
I'm going to forget the name of it.
Zabobra.
Zabobra?
It was horrifying.
Okay, hold on.
It was a scary last date. Katie even said she was scared. She's like, it's so scary. We're going to find out the
I'm
name
going
here.
to tell you 1 second. Hold on.
Looks like the guy from Saw.
Zozobra.
Oh, that was close.
Close.
Zozobra.
Zozobra. Zozobra.
Yeah, like Trent said on Cutting
Terrifying.
Stems last night, just to get out ahead of this, no disrespect to wherever this is coming from, because we don't know, but it was scary. I didn't want to look that thing in the eye.
They didn't really give us a history on it either.
No, they didn't. So, by the way, if it's disrespectful to say it's scary, we already are sorry for that, but we have to admit that it kind of scared us a little bit.
It was just too big. The thing was way too big.
It was monstrous.
If it had just been like a little doll that they did this to, it'd be like, oh, that's still sort of strange, but it's not overwhelming. Its head exploded as they were standing there.
It was like Transformers. It was
Right.
like a movie where this man is taking over the city and is going to kill everybody. And the last couple standing
Right.
is like, no, how are we going to save us? And then their love, they kiss, and this guy fucking explodes to save the day.
100%. And what was it? They wrote down their fears and they put it inside of the...
Yeah, it was like they put it on it. They wrote it in a journal and then lit the paper on fire, which
Okay.
then lit the whole effigy on.
I mean, we've been seeing it
Fire.
teased in the trailers all season long, and it was scary then, and it was scary last night.
Yeah, so they do it every year, at the Fiesta de Santa Fe in New Mexico. And he's known as the Old Man Gloom, made up of wood, wire, and cotton. And it's supposed to look like a marionette. And it's supposed to represent gloom and anxiety.
I tweeted out a screenshot from the episode, and it looked like they were all holding hands.
Yeah,
it looked like he was standing there looking down at them, and they were all holding hands.
Creepy.
Just not something you want to think about right before bed.
Yeah, and also just not really, perhaps something very cleansing, not something very romantic, not really like the date you're looking for before a proposal.
No, certainly not.
No.
Definitely not. Which does bring us to the proposal, where once again, Trent, like you said, we weren't sure what was going to happen. The music got kind of creepy.
When he was walking up, the music was pointing towards this is not happening.
We had Tayshia drop like if you're not ready for this, fucking don't do it.
She was there when he picked out the ring.
Yeah.
They called Neil Lane on the FaceTime. They got him there. Was he there?
Neil Lane was on FaceTime. He
was on
not there.
FaceTime. He wasn't there.
I'm assuming he very securely airlifted these rings.
I'm picturing a briefcase with handcuffs on it. And he's like, take this and protect it with your life.
Yep.
Tayshia was there when he picked out the rings, which we all thought was strange. And then I saw Blake tweeted later on that night that it was nice to have Tayshia there in that moment.
Which he did double down on.
What do you mean?
He said in the interview.
Oh, did he? Okay. Yeah.
He said it was very nice. And that they've always had, they just have a good relationship. So as much as the idea of that concept is weird in reality for them, it wasn't that bizarre. And we, the proposal itself, not sure what was happening because there were some deep pauses. Katie gave her spiel, talked about loving him, everything. And then there was a long pause and it was oh God, what's happening? What is he going to do? But he proceeded to speak and talk about his love for Katie and everything. And then there was a hesitation from him.
Not only a hesitation, he said, I can't give you that. He was talking glowingly about love.
We all gasped.
What she deserves.
I fell over.
Yeah.
We all, he was like, I can't give you that. And we were like, oh no. But then what did he say? He was like, I can give you more.
Yeah.
I'll give you more than that.
Yeah. Classic.
Yeah.
It was
he
good.
got us.
Got us all up out of our seats.
Good.
Oh. And then, then he professed
got down
his love to
on
her.
one knee, proposed, and we were all so happy.
Well, there were tears in the room that we were
in the room. So happy. We've been saying since day one, Katie and Blake made the most sense on paper that if we had to pick any of these guys for them to work in the real world, it would be Blake.
Yeah, that's how we felt even after watching the proposal. It was oh, we're so happy for them. I can feel the love here. She's so happy. He's so happy. And then it just went downhill.
Yeah, the conversation with Greg was ugly.
It left a sour taste in my mouth. And I know that's people have a split opinion on this. And what I realized while watching this show and just we live tweeting and whatever, it's you just got to have your opinion and stick to it. Because reading, and it's kind of what Katie did, is reading everything on the internet makes you then be oh, I should be thinking that way. I should be thinking that way.
Right.
When you watch it yourself and you do not pick up your phone, what are you taking away from the episode? And what I took away...
What was your gut reaction?
What was your gut reaction? And my gut reaction to that was, yes, I think Greg fucked up. Mm-hmm. I think Katie fucked up. I think that Katie went after Greg in a very mean-spirited way. And yes, 100% she can be hurt by him. Of course she's going to be hurt by him. She really liked him. He left. Not invalidating Katie's feelings, because when you start, here's the thing, when you start sticking up for Greg, people are you're invalidating Katie's feelings, and it's no, I'm not. I just
we don't like Greg either.
The thing is
I don't like Greg either.
I don't love Greg, but I am not so
Yeah.
against Greg in the way that everyone else is, because people fuck up. People, and they have arguments in relationships, and sometimes people aren't good at handling arguments in relationships, and that doesn't always mean that that's a gaslighting situation, which is a word that just keeps being thrown out there without people actually knowing the definition of what it is. It's I tweeted that last night, and then someone said people forget that when you're in an argument, even with your couple, you're trying to win the argument. So of course you're going to tell them what you think they did wrong versus what they did wrong to you. You're having an argument and you want to be right. So to me, that's kind of what I was getting from Katie. just so angry at Greg when she kept saying how happy she was to be with Blake. And I'm sure she is happy to be with Blake, but it just seemed like the passion was more towards, it was being thrown towards Greg when it should have been being more thrown towards Blake. Yes, be upset with Greg, but like, let's appreciate Blake a little bit more because you're really keening in on Greg here. Let's get over it.
One thing I do agree with Katie on that she said to us is that it clearly has opened up this conversation, and people are talking more about like what arguments within relationships look like. Yeah. And I get what you're saying, Rhea, that obviously like when you're arguing with someone, you want to win the argument. You're fighting. Like that's what happens. I think this was a good example of people having an argument and everyone watching it and saying like, there are better ways to have an argument, or like we have to kind of maybe unteach ourselves these methods that we try and like attack someone when we're having an argument instead of trying to like actually express how you're feeling. And Katie did it in the with Greg.
Right. Like I think
I felt like Katie really attacked Greg in that moment and didn't really let Greg speak. And when Greg did speak, it wasn't great. He didn't really have the best things to say either. He kind of sat there and took it and then tried to be like, I'm sorry you feel that way. But it didn't work on his part either.
They didn't have a conversation.
But it wasn't constructive at all the way she came at him either.
And it was like, you're an actor, and just a lot of things about what people were saying on the internet.
You don't know what love is, you're a liar.
Yeah, I said that, and it's like, all right, whoa, like let's take it easy on the man for a quick second. And I feel like a lot of times,
let's talk about where it came from.
Let's have a conversation here. Like you guys liked each other. Let's get back to that. Yeah. And also I feel like a lot of times when like even especially on The Bachelor or Bachelorette, when a man and a woman get into a fight, it's like if you don't take the woman's side, all of a sudden you're against women and like you're wrong. Well, the man isn't always wrong 100% of the time. Like
it turns into you don't support women. Women are supposed to support women.
Right.
Well, it's like sometimes you can disagree.
Right. Like I'm supporting her, but like I disagreed with the way that was handled in all different directions up there. Like that was it was wild.
Right, and I think people, like last week, people would mostly agree that the second half of the conversation that Greg and Katie had, Greg was kind of like, it was a little too much. It was, and he was a little, maybe he was too manipulative, and people were like, that's not the best way to go about it. But then, like you're saying last night, Katie just attacked Greg. So now you're dealing in a situation where you've got two people who probably aren't having a constructive conversation or argument, and you do need to like peel that back and figure out a better way to do it. Like it's the places that they're arguing from are places that that actually do hurt and aren't constructive. Let's all just take a deep breath and try to figure out what's actually going on.
Yeah. Which is why, and I will say I love Caitlyn and Tayshia and I love what they did all season, but the one criticism I have is that they, in those moments, you have to moderate a little bit better, because then when the emotions are running so high like that, you need someone to be like, okay, you just said that. Why did you just say that? Like, let's talk about where that came from. Instead of letting them go at it and then being like, all right, guys, you've been going at this for a long time. We got to wrap it up.
Right. Well, it was like a classic shower fight. Like Katie went on a long rant,
said everything she'd been planning,
all the buzzwords, a long speech she had planned in her head. It didn't feel like a natural conversation. What I mean by shower fight is I stand in the shower sometimes and fantasize and dream about me getting into arguments with people or conversations, and I plan the whole thing out in my head, and then it never goes the way that I had planned in my head. Yep. Because the other person is there having a conversation with you.
Yep.
That wasn't happening. There was no conversation. It was just like, boom, hit after hit after hit after hit. And it's like, yes, you're the Bachelorette. I agreed with her when she said that, when she was like, I am the Bachelorette.
Yeah.
You are the Bachelorette. But I also agreed with Greg when he said, like, you are the Bachelorette, but like, I'm not below you. Like, our feelings should be treated on the same page. He wanted to be an
equal in that scenario. I sometimes just, I don't know, and maybe it's just my own opinion. I don't really buy what Greg is selling sometimes. I just think like he has used that idea of like, oh, I just wanted to be an equal with you and like I couldn't be there anymore. It's like, just say you were out. Like, just say you wanted to, like, you didn't want to be in the relationship anymore, because saying like she invalidated him or whatever however you want to call it, was like, Greg, like you've tried to go on this show 3 years in a row now, like 3 separate seasons. You clearly have watched the show. You know how it works. You know what happens at the end.
Yeah.
If you can tell me like you felt that madly in love with Katie and you really wanted her to like fucking drop everything and end this all, sure. But I don't buy that.
Yeah, straight up, Katie and Greg, terrible match.
Terrible.
Like the two of
Really
them,
bad.
really bad
clearly
match.
a match
I don't think
would
anybody
never
even
have
wants
worked in
them
the real life.
together. So that's
No.
why it's crazy we're spending so much time talking about the two of them as a couple because
I know.
neither of them
Which-
are the same.
It sucks because
they
Katie
hang
and
out-
Blake, I think, do make sense. So
in high
Totally.
school, those two are hanging out in 2 totally separate friend groups.
Yeah.
In life, I'm just thinking about lunch table wise. Like they're not at the same lunch
No.
table, those two. And in life, they're not hanging in the same circles. They are so different. It's even the way they fought was different. Obviously, like
yeah, and Greg's younger than her, which it's not a major problem. It is what it is, but there could be somewhat of an immaturity level there too. Katie is a woman who very much knows what she wants, and I think Blake is someone who can deliver that for her. And they spoke about how, you know, Katie loves her independence and doesn't mind that there's going to be time when they're going to be apart and all these things. And Blake loves that about her. So it really feels like that is a match that makes sense when Greg, the way that Greg talks about relationships, it seems like he needs someone to validate him at all times. Like, I need someone to tell me that they love me all the time. And Katie and Blake feel like maybe they don't need that.
I feel like Greg is the kind of man that Katie has always wanted but makes her feel insecure. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Greg's the guy on the
she's
poster on her
yeah,
wall.
she's the bad boy. He's the bad boy of her dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
No, so not a bad boy though.
not a bad boy.
Yeah.
Not so not a bad boy at all. But you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
in her world.
Right. On paper, you're like, ooh, I would love a guy
Fuck
like
boy.
that.
He's that.
Totally.
Like it's like I want him to like me so much, but he also makes me feel insecure.
Yeah.
And for Greg, I don't think he was a match with Katie. So
Yep.
like once again, it's like why are we even talking
Right.
about these
It's
two
like the
people
way the
together?
Let's move on.
internet, the way the internet works is that you either have to be Team Greg or Team Katie. When in reality, it's like they're not right for each other, and they both said some things that were wrong.
Right.
Yeah, I
And they're
disagree with both of them. I was last night more on Team Greg, to be completely honest, just because of last night. But in general, I think they were both wrong for each other, and I think they were
Yeah.
both wrong in their arguments.
I don't really like picking teams when like
Yeah.
it's
No.
stupid.
It is. And then- and, like-
You don't have to pick a team when you can see both sides of a situation.
especially for a couple that isn't a couple. Like, you know, like
No, they're
it's
not.
like-
Right.
Yeah.
And like when in reality, like someone like Blake is way better for Katie.
way better.
They're very similar. They're goofy.
Yeah.
And they have a good time together. And
Yeah.
they seem happy.
And
I'm rooting for Blake. I'm rooting
Totally.
for Blake and Katie to work
For
out.
sure.
I just want.
Blake
I
is
do
such a
feel like
genuinely
Blake is a
great
genuine
person.
soul.
Yeah.
Like that's just the vibe I get
Yep.
from him. That's the vibe I get from his family. Emily,
Yep.
they're all great and they seem like great people. And I don't think we know Katie in that way yet.
we don't.
You know what I
We're
mean?
always going to be in Blake's corner.
Exactly. So
Right.
it's like we're rooting for Blake here, and we just hope for the best. It's
Yeah.
like we hope that works out for them if they're happy with that.
Blake's happy. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I 100%. And I did say to you guys, like and who knows if we'll ever get this opportunity, but I would love to talk to Katie, not in an interview, not in the show, like in a real social setting, to get a little bit more of a sense of how she is, because I do think there are a lot of times when she is on TV that either maybe there's an uncomfortability there or like an awkwardness that comes with, you know, being on television and wanting to say the right thing and all those things. Like, I really would love to see how she is in her day to day, because the Katie that I saw like on the internet after Matt James's season, and even before she was cast on Matt's season, like looking at her social media before she was on, like I was like, this is a relatable, funny, really down to earth girl. And I don't know where things got lost in this.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like we're getting her true, genuine self, and that could just be from being uncomfortable, from being on TV, doing interviews. It's a weird thing. It's a weird spot to be in.
Trying to be the Bachelorette.
Yeah, definitely not a thing that comes easy. And I just think that we have seen more genuine, like Hannah Brown to me was one of the most genuine Bachelorettes we saw, or that I watched. I just felt like, remember, we were so nervous about her as the Bachelorette, and then afterwards we were like,
She was great.
We love Hannah Brown as the Bachelorette. It's like I don't. It wasn't that passionate after this season.
Yeah. And we'll see how this goes down. I do want to say though, because I feel like I brought it up, and you guys are probably so sick and tired of me saying this, but best case scenario, this ends up like Chris and Desiree from Desiree's season. If you guys have watched Desiree's season, it was a while back, but it was almost not the fight was not as intense, but the guy leaving who felt like the front runner, and then a proposal still happening, and there is a good story to end that. Desiree and Chris are still together, married, kids, the whole thing. So
it can work.
It can work. And I feel like that is how I hope that Blake and Katie's story goes on. And seeing, that last moment with them still was maybe kind of uncomfortable. And I feel bad because I feel like it was like, okay, Katie just went off on Greg. She has those feelings in her head. She's probably second guessing like, oh, I saw red. I think she saw
just
red.
Blacked out and started yelling.
Next, she has to sit next to her fiance and be like, "We're so in love. I can't believe it." So like afterwards, we're like, "This feels a little off." They had these men standing up with boom boxes, and then they hated that. They made them dance.
So
it was like supposed to be so romantic, and I think we would have I personally would have bought into it a lot more if it wasn't like the Greg of it all lingering.
Yeah, I mean,
it was
the
Greg
whole,
smell.
Too much
lingering too hard.
Yep.
Right, and then they were like, all right, we got 7 minutes left. Let's get these boom boxes in the air and let's do some dancing.
Right, and it was uncomfortable, and I wanted the background people to stop, but we're just going to hope for the best for Katie and Blake.
Absolutely.
And, even though people can have their opinions, which is what I want to make clear to everyone.
Yeah.
And people aren't going to take this, though. People are still going to watch us and be like, we hate you, either one, for having this opinion. You're allowed to have an opinion about somebody, disagree with them, and also root for their happiness.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny. I think you might have said it where they're not a couple. Like Greg and Katie aren't a couple, so we don't have to worry about that.
Right.
We don't have to worry about them. They're gone.
Yeah.
To be honest, guys, my mind is so far in Paradise.
Paradise!
The trailer at the end.
That Paradise had my
that
juices.
Not only had your
flowing.
gooses.
My juices.
Oh, your juices. I thought you said your gooses.
Well, I
I
said
was like,
that Paradise. I meant that trailer.
That
trailer had my juices flowing. I couldn't even speak right there.
Lil
to talk
Jon
about it.
narrating. Unbelievable.
So good.
We've now just gotten to a place where I kind of can't believe that David Spade and Lil Jon are heavily involved in Paradise, but I'm very happy.
I'm very happy. I do think it was a great taste to see David Spade hosting Jimmy Kimmel and like seeing how he interacted with Blake and Katie, because he's going to bring that same energy to Paradise, and we're going to get these hosts. But the drama is going to be good. The people are going to be good. We know for sure that Becca is going to be there. She's like the first lead to go on Paradise after being the lead. Like, Nick was on Paradise before becoming the Bachelor.
Ever?
There hasn't been anyone that's been the Bachelor or the Bachelorette and then gone on Paradise, I don't think.
I think that's right.
Think about it. I don't think there has been.
I hadn't thought about it in that way.
Like Peter Weber didn't go on, Hannah didn't go on, Colton was the Bachelor after Paradise.
If they threw Pilot Pete on there, that'd be hilarious.
He would go. I don't know why he wouldn't
He's
go.
probably
Honestly-
knocking on their door being like,
honestly,
can I go to
please.
Paradise?
Like, please do
of
that.
course.
Put the Bachelor boys in the
Yeah.
city on Paradise.
But look,
would change their
we're
podcast
clearly going to get some heat because I don't know if any of us knew that Kendall was going to show up. We knew that Grocery Store Joe
so
was going to be
good.
there. And it looks like Joe is creating some kind of connection with Serena P. And boom,
Kendall shows
down
up.
comes Kendall. Big time. Not to be like that person, but how old is Grocery Store Joe?
I'm going to say 34.
I'm going to say 31.
34.
How old is he?
34.
Oh, what a
Oh,
guess.
wow.
Serena is...
She's young, yeah?
She's young. I think she's like 23.
I think
so
that's
that
right.
and
Fuck it, Joe. Get yourself
Yeah.
a youngie.
Exactly. Seems like, but
no
it's like
idea what that
I don't know what that means either.
I have no
It
idea
honestly
what that
doesn't
means.
sound good.
It doesn't sound good
No.
at all, and I want to take it back.
Yeah.
Okay. You said it really confidently.
We'll,
you like looked up
we'll-
your phone and like, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna revoke that.
I want to take that back.
Youngie?
I'm a youngie.
Youngie, yeah, let's revoke. That sounds creepy.
It was very creepy and perverted of me, and I'd like, guys, I'm not perverted. I'm
Revoke.
just Italian.
Yeah. Oh no.
Topical. That was topical.
Oh man. All right.
Leave that in.
All right, everyone. I think that wraps up our
Did you want to?
recap.
I want to give you the opportunity to say something about Zach and Tasha if you want to.
Oh,
Because
guys, the amount of haters that Zach and Tasha have.
You looking at me?
What? What are you talking about?
I wouldn't say I'm a hater. I'm just
a doubter.
Have you guys talked about this?
Yeah.
Oh, when?
I like to push friends' buttons.
He does like to push my buttons, and there's been times when, like doing the group chat, or if there's like a Tayshia topic or something, and they're like, "Ooh, did you see that?" And I'm like,
well, because I do remember this now. There were like rumors with that when she was away, or like that they were drifting apart or something.
There definitely has it. Noah loves to be like, "Hey, friend, you see that post about?"
But long story short,
very happy for them. Zach tweeted out, the Bachelorette is better because of you. To Tayshia, love you. I root for them so hard.
I'm rooting for them.
That's what I'm saying. Can't you root for people
without
without
them,
also being like,
I don't think it's gonna work, but I'm rooting for them.
Noah,
Zach C. complimented my shirt. He's a Jeff Buckley fan. Love him.
I respect that opinion. I think more people should be allowed to say, I'm rooting for those people. I'm just
positive
being real.
energy, because you're not really rooting for them if you think that they're gonna break up.
No, that's
I'm just
not
being
true. Realistic.
Like,
I'm
not like.
I think you can root for somebody, but also think, how is this gonna work?
Just being like,
all right.
But
You're right. You're right.
How do you feel?
You're right.
about,
I just think I'm rooting for them so hard that I don't want that kind of energy out there.
Like, I think the way he feels about Zach and Tayshia is the way I feel about Claire and Dale.
That's fair. Rooting for them, but like it's no whatever.
Like, I don't think anyone's actively.
Why are we
against,
talking about Claire and Dale?
I don't know.
Let's wrap this up. Let's wrap it up.
But no one's actively being like, I want these people to like be miserable. It's just like, I don't think it's gonna work. But like, I would love for everyone to be happy.
Yeah.
Zach and Tayshia seem very happy.
Yes, they do.
I would like for Zach and Tayshia to stay together, and I'm gonna root for that.
Yeah. We're rooting for love here, everyone. That wraps it up.
We have an amazing chat with Cashay from Love Island, and wait until you see how I spin Love Island into this one. You guys are going to be impressed. Showtime pay-per-view coming up. It's huge. We got the Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley fight. It's a 5-fight pay-per-view event in Jake Paul's hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. It is going to be on Sunday, August 29th. It's Showtime pay-per-view, and Most Valuable Promotions are presenting this fight. The action-packed pay-per-view telecast will be produced and distributed by Showtime pay-per-view, beginning live at a special time of 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Like I said, the main event, Jake Paul. We all know him. We all know he's getting into the boxing game. Everybody can turn their eyeballs away from him fighting. I think as much as you hate him or love him, you want to watch his fights. Even people who don't watch boxing want to watch his fights. He will be fighting the former UFC champion, Tyron Woodley. Tickets are on sale now. They can be purchased at rocketmortgagefieldhouse.com. This is my Love Island. Tommy Fury of Love Island UK is on this card.
Yes, he is.
He will be fighting.
Yes,
he is not fighting Jake Paul, which is what, if you listen to this show, you know that Rhea and I have been hoping for a Jake Paul Tommy Fury fight, but he is on the card. He will be fighting at this event. So if you want to see Jake Paul fight and you want to see Tommy Fury fight, you got to check it out. You got to buy it now. You can order it now. Go to the Showtime app or showtime.com/PPV and watch the event live on any supported device. The event is also available via all major cable, satellite, and telco pay-per-view providers for $59.99. Once again, that's Sunday, August 29th. So get ready. Get prepared, 8 p.m. Eastern. Go to showtime.com/PPV to order now. All right, everyone, we are here with a very special guest, Love Island USA's Cashay. We are so excited that you are here. I have loved you all season long, and I'm honestly devastated that you are no longer on the island. I really am.
No, don't be. It was my time. I was ready.
I know, but nobody else is as good as you.
Can I just say, I unfortunately am not all caught up on this season, although I am now because obviously, but they were filling me in and I was getting upset. I was like, I haven't even watched this whole season and now I really like her and I'm upset.
It was unfortunate because we had to kind of like give Rhea a crash course because she was slower to start it. So I like laid it all out for her, and when I got to the end, she was like, "Oh no!" I let out an audible sigh. Like I was just like, "Ah, yes." But I think everyone who's been watching Love Island US this season has loved you. They loved the energy you brought. How does it feel being back on the outside?
It is the craziest experience. Like, I think when you're in there, you're not really thinking about the outside. You're not thinking about Instagram or Twitter, or like people that maybe following along on your journey. And I think getting out, like my phone is insane in like the best way.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. Like I always like get choked up because so many people support me and it blows my mind. Like the messages that I'm getting, like I'm a big softie and I just cry constantly. Like I'll be reading my phone. I'm just like, and I just get so emotional because the nice things people are saying, I'm like, I could have really used you guys in middle school. Life was hard. Like it's crazy. Like people are so sweet.
That is amazing because honestly, it could be bad. But
Right.
it seems
You never
like
know.
you really never know how it's going to go. But it
I
seems
know.
like you're getting a great reaction. It's making you feel good. And everyone loves to hear that.
Right. Thank God.
Yeah. So coming in, we're going to talk about everything, but I would love to start with just like coming into the villa and what you thought, like what were your expectations going in, and did anything really shock you? Like something that you thought it was going to be, like maybe just living in the villa, something that you didn't expect and you were kind of blown away.
Yeah, I like honestly thought I was gonna walk in and be like the hot chiz that everyone wanted. Like I thought I was gonna be so hot. I thought I was gonna have my pick of the litter. I thought men were gonna be like all over this, honey, and that was not how it went. I definitely feel I was definitely like overlooked in the beginning. Like me and Olivia got really close because like no one was messing with us at first. Like we were not what we and we were like the first two to walk in. We were like in our jeeps. We're like, yeah, and like it was not what we thought it was gonna be. Like her and I thought we were going to get along with everyone, which we did. And then we thought all the girls were just going to meet their person. It was going to be hot and sexy all summer. And that's like not what it was. I did not expect to cry as much as I did. I did not expect the mental breakdown. I did not expect to be in a throuple. Like I did not expect anything that happened. I wouldn't change it, but it's just not what I thought at all.
And obviously
like
everything is heightened so much because it's the only thing you're allowed to focus on, right? Like, is there any break, any sort of relaxation at all that they give you in that villa to get your mind off of it?
Relaxation? No, because I think like even when we're laying by the pool, like all we're talking about is so-and-so, is that connection, is you're watching people pull the guy that you like pull another girl for a chat. So even when you think you're relaxing, you're not. You know, the only time I felt comfort was in like the box of Oreos. Like I was just kind of like, this feels good.
Yeah.
Okay?
I would lose
then when
my
I look
damn
up,
mind.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I would lose my damn mind.
I mean, you saw me lose mine.
Yeah.
So it's like, it happens. It was hard. It was definitely very hard. And I'm not someone who like likes to feel. I like to ignore it. That's just my vibe. If I feel too much, I turn on my favorite song. Like I don't like it.
Yeah.
And it was definitely happening constantly in the villa.
With the throuple, with you and Cinco and Trina, what I thought was really commendable, which is something that we really don't see on reality TV a lot when it's a two girls and one guy kind of situation, is you and Trina never turned on each other. There was never like trying to go behind each other's back or hiding things. You guys kept communication so open, and there really seemed to be so much love there. How did you guys like try and keep that relationship strong while you were both, you know, gunning for the same guy?
Yeah, I think for us, it was just honesty. Like, it was just like, it was a little weird to have like conversations like with her. I'm like, you want my guy? Like, this is weird. But I think it was just like us being honest. Also, it's the fact that I do respect her as a woman and I really like her. So it wasn't like, it would have been a lot harder if I didn't like her. 100%. I would have been like, why are you talking to him? But there was just so much love and respect there. And she's generally someone that I was so excited to meet the very first day when she walked in. I was like, oh my God, yes, another Black queen. Like, this is amazing. Like, absolutely, yes. You know, so we've always been in each other's corners. I'm not going to lie. It was a point where it was like very, very strange.
Yeah.
And it was weird to navigate that. But then after that, I was just like, dude, I respect you and I love you. And you just want to find a connection just like I do. I think the hardest part wasn't in there, it's being out. There's like Trina supporters and my supporters, and they're ruthless on both ends. Her fans are absolutely ruthless towards me. And it like gets me emotional when I read it, just because it's crazy, because her and I have such love and respect for each other, and we're okay and we're so close. So it's weird that like the supporters of the show aren't there yet.
Right. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
That's what makes no sense sometimes when you see this with a lot of celebrities and people on reality TV or whatever, the supporters that they have. And when two people say, the stan culture, and when two people say, no, we're completely okay, we actually really like each other, we're friends, they're like, there's no way. You guys have to hate each other because they root for that kind of chaos. It's nuts.
Yeah. It's crazy because Sheena and I wore dashikis, and that wasn't like, let's twin, girl. Like, she got those dashikis in Kenya from like her family. And so for us, it was like a moment of like trust, bond, respect, friendship, honesty, family, like me supporting her culture. I'm not African, she is. And it was like just everything. But more so, like the last thing she said to me, she's like, I have really strong feelings for Cinco, but that's your guy. Go get him. Like, you guys are meant to be. Like, that took so much out of her. And like, that's like how our conversations went, you know, like during the stripping challenge, she's like, I'm going to kiss Cinco tonight. Like, you know, I hope that's okay. Like, it was just always that like verbal understanding. And that wasn't, I was a Charlie at that time, but like, it's still like that respect thing. It's crazy. And it's like, I can't wait till she's out so her and I can just like hopefully bridge that. Maybe it'll never happen and our fans are just too like diehard, but like, I hope that like goes away. And also the Charlie hate's crazy too. I'm like, that doesn't need to happen either.
It's almost like a crash course in honesty, though, because when in your life are you ever this honest with people? In the villa and on Love Island, you have no choice but to tell everybody exactly how you're feeling. And then do you feel like you took a little bit of that and feel like you can apply it to your real life now?
I'm an extremely honest person always. So I think that's like probably why I had no problem having those conversations with people. I'm very blunt, very honest, and you're going to know exactly what's on my mind. Sometimes that wasn't the best thing in there, but I never regretted it. So it was nice. Like, yeah, I don't know. It was nice. But I think you're right in the sense of like, sometimes in like the real world, even though I'm a very honest person, sometimes I hold back because I'm like, I don't want to hurt them. But in the villa, like when everything's so heightened, you're like, I don't give up. Hey, this is how I'm feeling, you know?
It's all just
coming out. And at some moments it was like, you're coming in hot. And I was like, oh, well, take off your shirt because it's about to get hot in here. Like, you know, like I got something to say. But it was nice because there was no like barriers or fakeness. Like we were just all very honest people. So it was nice that we were all in there together.
Is there an animal near you or something right now?
Yeah, there's a bird in a tree. My AirPods died. These aren't mine. I'm sorry. They're Cinco's and they died. Is it annoying? Should I move?
It's an
it's
incredibly loud bird.
Yeah, it is a very loud bird.
Well, the fact that you know that there's an animal there means it's a little loud.
I had to ask. I was like, I was really loving the confidence you were bringing right there, but I was like, I need to address this animal in the room.
Okay, wait, I think it stopped. But if it starts again, I'll go inside. Should I go inside? What should I do?
It seems like
it stopped. So I feel like we're
the bird heard us.
We told the bird to shut up.
Yeah, I'm outside. I'm so sorry.
No, you're totally
good.
Fine. Okay, so you mentioned as well, you know, the stands and people giving, you know, the viewers giving hate and whatnot, and the Charlie situation.
Yeah.
From the viewer standpoint, i.e. me, and you know, I love the show and I'm an avid watcher, but you know, I'm not in people's DMs and sending messages and whatnot. However, from my point of view, watching the show, it did kind of feel like Charlie did what he needed to do to make it to the villa. And once that happened, all of a sudden there were all these hesitations and issues and things that came up. Now, of course, Cinco wasn't in Casa Amor with you guys, so it wasn't a problem. And then Cinco was there, but it did kind of come across like maybe there was something going on there.
I'm an extremely understanding person, almost to a fault. I don't want to be naive, but him and I really do believe that our connection in Casa Amor was real. So for me, I feel like a lot of gratitude for him because him and I had a conversation that I've never had with a man before. And like, I was told at 22 that like having kids is going to be really difficult for me. And I haven't been in a serious relationship in almost 4 years because I was just kind of like, it was a fear of mine. Like, I'm going to meet someone, we're going to date, we're going to move in together, then get to that point of like, okay, we want a family and then I can't have kids. I was like, what is that man going to feel? Anger? Like he wasted his time, you know, all this stuff. So it like came up in a conversation with me and Charlie, and we got like so close in that first conversation. Like he opened up about family. I told him that, like the way he handled it kind of set me free in my dating life. So for that, I'm always going to be grateful for him. if he did use me to get into the villa, that would suck. Will I ever know that? No. He's never going to text me and be like, hey, yeah, I used you. I want to get that off my chest. You know what I mean?
True.
So I choose to try to see like the best in people. Us getting into the villa, I do try to sympathize with him because everyone wanted me with Cinco. Like when we got back into the villa, Corey is my closest guy friend in the house. And he was like, what are you doing, babe? He seems great, but like Cinco's been talking about you. Like, Cinco. And that was the vibe amongst everyone. Like even at Casa Amor, I don't know if they showed this, but Olivia's like, that man's a flat tire. Don't bring him back. Like no one was like vibing on Charlie at first. So for me, it was like just hard because we did have this like crazy bond, it felt like. And I almost wanted to still like explore that. But I also was open with him and I was like, listen, like there's unresolved things with Cinco. My last conversation with Cinco before Casa Amor was like, you're it for me, I want you. So then meeting Charlie, it was crazy, you know? I don't know. It's just like, and he said I can handle it. And then going into the villa, he couldn't. And I think it was probably a lot for him. And I do want to sympathize with him because it was probably crazy for him.
I don't know if you saw or if you've been watching, but you were there in the moment when Charlie obviously picked Alana and he looked very emotional. Trina, afterwards in the episode, I guess that was maybe Sunday night. I just watched it. When was it? Last night? Sunday night. She told him that she thought it was crocodile tears, that he was kind of like faking it. And Olivia and Trina were like, we're not buying anything this guy is selling. So...
I did not know that.
Yeah. I'm telling you, those girls have your back 100%. I've felt like that with Olivia too. Like Olivia was like so like not talking to Charlie anymore. So they totally have your back. But it was an interesting thing. Like how when he said goodbye to you, did you feel like he was really upset about the decision he made?
Yeah, I think he was. I think him and I, like, we're still close. Like, even when we were together, it wasn't like, I think it was just for us. Like, I don't know how much of the Aloha conversation you guys saw. Like, when we were at that sign, you guys probably saw 5 minutes of a 45-minute conversation. To him, I feel like he was checked out, but he didn't want to admit that to himself. But I was just kind of like, if you don't want this, verbalize it to me. And I said that for like 3 days. I was like, you obviously have a physical connection to Alana. And if you want to pursue that, just tell me. Like, I'm a grown woman. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be mad at you for having conversations and exploring that. He's like, no, it's you. It's 100% you. I like you. I'm like, but like, if you don't, you can say that. My only issue with Charlie was that he wasn't vocal and he just moved weird. And that's why the girls had such an issue with him. Like, he just moved really weird. And he didn't have to, because I am literally the most understanding person in the world. Like, I'm not easily offended. Like, I would have been okay. Him choosing Alana, I feel like, is okay. I was ready to leave. I think it just became work between him and I. I was honestly going to leave even if he chose me. That's something I didn't tell anyone, but even if he chose me, I would have left that night because I said I'm always going to be true to myself. And that would have been the moment I wasn't true to myself if I stayed there with him. I don't want to do this last week with him. It's like all serious stuff, meeting the family. Like, I don't want that man to meet my family. We're just homie. Like that. You know what I mean? I was like, I was ready. So that's why I think too, when he was crying, like, I wanted to let him know, like, you're good, boy. Like, you did what's best for you. I'm not mad. I'm gonna go text homeboy on the outside. Like, we're good. Like, everybody's good. Like, this is happening right. Like, I'm good. And everyone else should be too. So I hope they're still not being rude to him in there because it's not necessary. He's good. Live your life, boy. I'm living mine, you know?
What I admire about you, and you said it yourself, is that you are so incredibly understanding. Like, I feel like a lot of other people, they get sent home by the man they brought back. You're going to be pissed off, but you seem like you want to be with Cinco.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't even just about Cinco too. It was just kind of like, even if Cinco was like, I don't give a crap about that girl anymore, I wouldn't want to be with a man I don't like. Yeah. And I was not like, don't like, that comes off rude, but a man that I couldn't see like a connection with further. Yeah. And also it's like, I'm not trying to be in a friendship couple. I was in like 3 of those. I'm good. So for me, it was just kind of like, I think it's my time. I feel good. So it wasn't like, it would have been different if I brought him in and then 2 days later, he's like, bye, like, and sent me home. Then I'd be like, wait, then I would have been pissed. But for me, it just was like, I feel nothing but like I'm good. Like, I just felt fine, you know, and everyone else was like crying and upset. And I was like, why am I still consoling everybody? Like, I'm ready, you know? It was just like, and I love everyone. And it was, I'm not going to say I was like happy to leave. It's bittersweet. I love everyone in there and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful time being in the villa. But it was just my time and I was at peace with it.
Yeah.
Homegirl was ready to go. Like, I was like, I'm good.
And well, it's nice that you said it was, you know, it was your time. And here you are. We saw, you know, the video on Instagram of you guys connecting, and there you are at the airport together. What's going on with you guys? How are we trying to make it work in the real world?
Yeah, so
Ew.
Okay, so, ew.
I like it.
I find myself doing that all the time now, and I'm like, why am I doing that? I'm like, oh, Cash does it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that like it's people honestly know what it means now, because every time I meet someone new, they're like, why are you saying ew? But now if they watch the show, I don't have to go through that.
Yes.
But with Cinco and I, so we met at the airport. I had a 2-hour layover in Virginia. That's where he lives. And we like saw each other and I was like, hi. And he's like, hey. And it was like weird because we got like recognized, and him and I were like, this girl like comes up to us freaking out. Like she's like, I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry. And him and I are like, hey, like, you know, it was so weird because like it's just weird. I don't know. Like,
I mean,
like
you guys
that,
have been, you haven't had to really deal with it on the outside now.
It
Here
was
it comes.
so weird. Like she was like, can I get a picture? I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. I'm like, no, it's like you don't have to cry. Like you can get a picture. It was so weird. So then we like kept talking or whatever, and we were like chatting, and like, I don't know, like we kissed or whatever. And then
she's blushing. She's blushing so hard right now.
I'm literally gonna throw up. So then I hate feeling. So then I was just kind of like, okay, I have to leave. Like my flight's in like 10 minutes. Like I have to get back on a shuttle bus to go to the other side of the airport. He's like, or you can stay. I'm really spontaneous. You can't say something like that to me because I will stay.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, so stay. I was like, okay. And he's like, all right. And I was like, okay. So he grabs my bag and he's like, let's go. I was like, bet. So we're sitting in his car, and then I was like, and then he's like, I'm like, wait, I'm staying? He didn't hit me until he like turned on his car. I'm like, what's happening? I don't have any clothes here. I like met his dad.
We see the shirt.
FaceTimes in. Like, it's just the craziest thing. And I don't know. It's a lot. But for us, we're just kind of like, we express like our interest in each other, right? And I feel like I do mean it when I say I feel like he's it for me. But what does it mean?
Right.
So now it's just like I want to go on dates with him. I need to see like what he orders from Chick-fil-A. Like I need to judge this man a lot before we figure out like what's going on with us, you know?
I really love that. Like to just kind of be like, no, like I'll stay. Like, okay.
And I love how you're staying with him while also learning about him.
You're like walking out of the airport like, am I staying?
Yeah, like I'm spontaneous and I love that, but I'm also like, wait, I only know like Villa you. Like, who are you? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I've never even seen him with a phone before. I'm like, are you the kind of guy who ignores people that you're with on your phone? Like, there's so much we don't know. I'm like, can you drive? Are you like, I'm like, do you drink? Like, because we had like a 2-drink minimum. I'm like, what if he's the kind of guy he gets drunk and he punches holes in the wall? I'm like, who are you? Who are you? Like, I don't know. So there's so much we need to figure out, but I'm just excited to like have that possibility, you know?
Yeah. Do you feel like you're figuring things out slowly right now? What's the one thing you figured out immediately that you didn't know in the villa?
I don't know. It's like, he's a lot sillier than I thought.
That's
and
a great
I kind of love
quality.
that. Because I mean, I understand why he wasn't silly in the villa. He was, you know, in a triangle and he felt a lot of distress and people loved him or hated him. But he's just a lot sillier and he's just, I don't know, he's amazing. Ew.
Oh, no, it's great though, because I feel like that is so what you described.
I don't know, I'm smiling a lot.
I know. I specifically remember your conversation with, maybe it was Olivia, saying like that, you know, Charlie didn't like throw you around. You needed someone that would like wrestle with you and like be silly and like have those moments. So
yeah, like I would wrestle Charlie and he'd be like, and he'd like just sit there. I'm like, no, kick my ass. Like I'm like, you aren't doing anything right now. Like people would throw me around. Like he would literally, like I'd be like, I can't breathe. He's like, yeah, right. I'm like, you know, it was like fun.
Yes.
You know, and that's like
tap out.
Yeah, like what are you doing? Like Charlie wouldn't like do any of that. And I'm like, okay, this man's not silly enough for me. Like I'm like very silly. And last night Cinco's like, you're gonna get tired of me. I was like, wait, you don't think you're gonna get tired of me? You're worried about me getting tired of you? I was like, this is great. Like, I'm like, I love it. This man does not know what he just got himself into. Like, I'm so excited. We're figuring it out.
That's amazing. Well, let's I do want to talk about everybody else because the show is not over. Who are you rooting for to win this whole thing?
I feel like I'm biased because my two best friends are in a couple.
Yes.
I love Corey and Liv. I'm glad that they like finally got it right because it was like other people, them not expressing themselves, someone being into someone else, blah, blah, blah. Like it's been a lot.
Yeah.
I'm excited for them. But how sexy would it be if Trina and Andre win?
It would
because Andre's like, this is just a friendship couple. And now I think he's feeling my girl. And that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm a little biased though, because like Liv and Core, I'm like, how sexy would that be? Because they just like, they're finally figuring it out. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Were Olivia and Corey in a situation where everyone around them was kind of like, ooh, these guys could maybe be good together, but they didn't see it until a while?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Nobody saw it coming.
No, it's not that we didn't see it coming. We just never thought it would happen.
Yeah.
I was always like, this could be really freaking cute, but I never thought that they would actually get there. So when it finally happened, we're like, oh, wait, are you guys is this, like it's crazy. But it's not something that we're like, okay, this needs to happen. No one was like that. We're like, it'd be cool if it did, but none of us really thought it would.
And Will and Kira, Will and Kira have been together, the whole time. And, I think it's like you got to put your special sunglasses on sometimes when you're watching them. Just because I think Kira is so into him and they have a clear sexual chemistry. That's undeniable. But what have they talked about? And I just feel like he's very hesitant to commit, which makes me nervous. Like they've reached this point and he won't, like it took Andre to be like, hey, don't be afraid to ask her to be your girlfriend. And he still isn't really reaching that level. And I'm just kind of afraid Kira's going to get hurt at the end of this. How do we feel about Will?
After talking, because now we're not in the villa, so I can gush with Cinco about all the tea.
Yeah.
After hearing about like what Casa Amor was actually like, I haven't watched any of the episodes. I probably never will. I don't know. Well, any of mine. I'm going to watch like now, but I'm not going to go back and watch my episodes. But like hearing like about like Casa Amor, like with Will, like just hearing like how Cinco was with Flo, hearing that, I was like, oh my God, I don't know. Because I haven't seen him be like that with Kira. I don't know, guys. I don't know what I'm allowed to say or what's okay to say, but like, I don't know. I am worried that she's going to get hurt because she's so into him. And I don't know if he's there, if he's too scared to get there, if he's hesitant. I literally don't know. But it's crazy because to me, Josh and Shannon are Love Island. Yeah. They've been together pretty much as long as like Will and Kira have. I know. But I would never say that about Will and Kira.
I know. I really wish they could win. I don't know if that's a possibility.
Me too.
Somehow,
I still want them to win. I wish we were able to vote for them.
I know.
Like,
I know. I feel like they should just be able to accept the Love Island winnership award at home.
I know. I think they should just get on Zoom with the producers and just accept.
Exactly.
And we can all watch and be happy.
Exactly.
Because to me, like Love Island is like going through things, like fighting to get to your relationship, like, going through obstacles. Like that's sexy. That's life. That's real. Not saying that Will and Kira aren't real. Yeah. But like there hasn't been that like there.
Yeah.
Passion.
Yeah, and Josh and Shannon obviously Josh and Shannon going through a lot, so for them to see Shannon leave with Josh too, I think validated what like really seeing them as a couple that could work on the outside. But we want to end with some superlatives, some Love Island superlatives. We're gonna hit you with them rapid fire before we wrap up. Rhea,
let's
go through some of them.
Should I do the first 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Biggest flirt.
Giovanni.
Most athletic.
Jeremy.
Best dressed.
Everybody. We're always on one.
You know what? Fair enough. Best smile. Can you vote for yourself?
I was going to say, I
was like, can we pick you?
I was going to say me, but that's rude.
Yeah, so you can pick yourself. Most oblivious.
Most oblivious? Corey. Oh my God. That man can be so oblivious sometimes.
Best dancer.
Best dancer? I know this is going to sound weird, but Jeremy, like, homeboy can dance.
I've been seeing some people say that, and I feel like we're really not getting to know, like, the real Jeremy. Like, I think Jeremy's
getting... I am so excited for we all to know him.
Yeah.
Like, he is crazy, and no one knows.
That boy reached the point where... I know we've reached a point where even Jeremy, like, in mid-episode, is joking about how America, like, doesn't know him. So
yes.
he clearly realizes it also. Most likely to star in their own personal reality show.
I feel like I want to see Giovanni again. That boy is like the craziest person I've ever met.
Most likely to get married first.
Trina.
Most likely
I should say Josh and Shannon, but Trina.
Yes. Most likely to run for president.
I don't know.
Who has the best leadership skills?
She's like, none
She's
of
like,
them.
literally none of us.
Andre. I feel like Andre would.
Andre.
I feel like he'd be a really good president.
And then my last question is, did you think that who would you have picked of the people that were sent home who you felt like maybe didn't get a fair shot in the villa?
Leanne. That girl's crazy to the bone, and I just love her. Like, I feel like she could have done some damage up in there.
Yeah.
Like, she's crazy. Or even Roxy, like, that girl is amazing. Like, such a sweetheart, so beautiful. Like, those three girls, like, they just didn't. They didn't really have a chance in there. Like, they went home so soon. Like, any of them, really.
Well, Cash, thank you so much for coming on with us. This was great. We're rooting for you in Cinco. We hope you guys, are going through the Chick-fil-A drive-thru.
Keep us updated on Instagram, please.
I got y'all.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. And thank you so much for coming to talk to us.
And let everyone know where they can follow you.
You guys can follow me on Instagram at Cashay Proudfoot. That's really all. Or Twitter. I'm obnoxious on there too. So
perfect.
Follow me on Twitter at Cashay Proudfoot for everything.
Do awesome.
It. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Bye. All right, that wraps up today's episode of Chicks in the Office. We hope you guys enjoyed the recap, the interview. Cash, we fucking had a loaded episode. You guys should thank us, but we also thank you. So subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe where you listen on Apple, Spotify, whatever it is. We love you guys, and we'll talk to you on Friday.